Good morning. You're listening to 895themix.com. The people's voice, the people's choice. 895themix.com. The place you go for your personal conversations, for your business information, and for your spiritual inspiration. 895themix.com. You can find us online or on your TuneIn app.
And good morning. This is Lisa Santiago McNeil.
And this is Brian Keith McNeil.
And this is About Last Night.
About last night. Let's talk about last night. Let's talk about time.
We're talking about time today. We started this morning. We do a Facebook Live broadcast on Tuesday, this morning, actually, before this broadcast, which will be uploaded to 895themix.com, and it will be available on your TuneIn app. And we talked about time, about how much time that we all have, how much time we waste, and whether or not we lose time the way that we lose money.
Yes. Just to piggyback on the morning show, as we were having our discussion, it seemed to boggle you.
Yeah.
How much time that we actually still have.
It boggled me.
Every single day that's unallocated.
Yes. So much so that I immediately got out my pen and paper. And
Talk about what you did, please.
So I'm mapping out the time. So first you got to recap what happened this morning. So there's 24 hours in a day. Go ahead.
We laid it out, 24 hours a day, and we said, let's say you spend 6 of those hours sleeping. Well, that still leaves you with 18 hours. And then we said, let's say if you take 10 hours for work. Now, we know most people work less than 10 hours in a day, but we're giving it 10 hours if you factor in traveling to and fro. So that still left 8 hours. Mm-hmm. 10 plus 6 is 16. That leaves 8 hours left in your 24-hour workday. Mm-hmm. And out of those 8 hours left, what do? And then we say, well, let's say if we put in an hour for personal development. Let's say we spend 2 hours helping children with school or preparing a meal. Okay? That still leaves 5 hours unaccounted for. 5 more hours still unaccounted for. What do we do? And that seemed to perplex you.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Okay.
And I think the reason why it perplexed me is that there's that unaccounted time is actually prep time.
Okay.
It's time that we use, and this is just a revelation that came to me, so it's evolving. I may decide to change my mind about it. Okay. I'm just kind of saying it out loud so that I can hear it for myself. But what's missing in this 8 hour this and 6 hour that and whatever is prep. There's prep. In those 10 hours at work, right, you've got to eat. Mm-hmm. So some people think, I got to eat. Oh, I'll go buy something to eat. But there are also some people that in order to eat, that means that they would have had to shop. They would have had to prepare. They would have had to cook.
Okay.
All of those things are going to eat up some of those random 5 hours that are just lying around.
Those miscellaneous things that we have to get done.
Right.
So let's say we spend 2 hours doing those things.
Is that all the time you think that it takes?
Well, let's say if it took 3 hours to do those things. Oh. If it took 3 hours to do those things, that still leaves another 2 hours. Right?
Yeah. I'm tired talking about time. I'm sorry. I'm getting tired talking about time.
But those time. Look at what you mapped out. Please describe what you mapped out and then talk about this right here.
Okay. So I mapped out a 24-hour timeline starting at 7 a.m. at the top and ending at 6 a.m. on the bottom. So starting with 7 a.m., it's personal development. 8 a.m. is travel time. From 9 to 6 is the work time. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is work time. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. is travel time again. And then there was a big block, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. that was empty. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight, right?
Yeah.
That was open. We put down from midnight to 6 a.m. as the sleeping time.
Right.
That may shift up or down for some people, sure. Whatever. Any of this may shift up or down. But just for the purpose of that, we had these 4 hours that most people fill with
time fillers, time wasters, things that are tension relieving instead of goal achieving.
That's also prime time on television.
That's prime time for TV.
Right?
Right?
8 p.m.?
Yeah, but before, I don't want you to rush into this right yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I want to talk about... Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about I want people to feel it.
Okay.
Okay. Feel that you have this time every day.
4 to 5 hours just laying around.
Even if you conserve and say 3 to 5 hours.
Okay.
Or 3 to 6 hours or something like that. 3 to 5 hours. Every single day that you can do something with. You need to spend those 3 to 6 hours taking a nap.
I'm struggling right now.
Oh my gosh. But think about that every single day. And if you was to add up these days here, say those 4 hours times 5 days a week, that's 20 hours in a week, right? And if we just take very simple math, times 4 weeks a month, that's 80 hours a month that we could do more with. Is that a fair statement?
That is a very fair statement. And actually, it's those 4 hours that many of us that are staunch proponents of home-based businesses encourage you to use at least 2 of them to build and grow a business.
And now talk about what you wrote here, please.
So I put you could either be building your dream or watching TV.
Building your dream or watching TV in those 4 hours.
In those 4 hours. And not even all 4. Just take 2.
Even if you take 2 hours.
Just take 2.
What if, and I really appreciate this, for the person who thinks they're busy. And they are busy. I think is not the right word. I'm a single mom. And I go to school at night. Okay? I got children in school. I got to hustle them back and forth. I got to shop. I got to do all these things. And I'm taking a class every night. Okay. Even her, with this time, does she have 2 hours to devote to her dream?
Maybe not. Maybe she is already devoting those 2 hours to her dream by
going
taking
to school.
those classes. Right.
Okay. So let's say that same woman who's not in school.
Right.
Okay. Are you suggesting that she does have 2 hours to devote to her building her dream?
I do. I have a prime example, actually.
Okay, talk about it.
Even as you work full or part-time, raise kids, and do all of that, if you are purposeful, you can still find time in there to be deliberate about building your dream. Monique Smith.
Okay.
Perfect example.
Talk about it.
Monique Smith with Sweet Children's Cakery. Fantastic, industrious young woman. Insists that she's got to build a dream. Now, she's also she was very strategic about finding a part-time job that actually balanced with the business that she's working with, and is taking time. I see her here and there stealing moments to build her business because she's very deliberate about her time.
And
she includes her children
to build her
business, so that way they are a part of it. She's not taking time away from them to build and grow her business.
Now she has 3 school-aged children.
Absolutely.
With all 3 different personalities.
Yes.
And she has a part-time job, and she's building her business.
Yeah.
If anyone could claim
not enough time,
right,
it would be her.
Now, the more we talk about this, I am coming over into the camp of, and I didn't think I was in this camp when we first started, but people who say they don't have the time, I'm in the camp of now, can't equals won't.
I agree.
I think you do have the time. You just have to change your thinking a little bit.
And let me say this: if you decide that you don't have enough time, I'm not gonna push you on it. Live your life the way that you want to live it, right? But it's those that come to me that say they have a burning desire, that say they have a dream that they want to bring forth, and then they give me what I call the excuse of not enough time. That's when I got a problem and I'm going to get in your butt.
But that means they won't do it.
Exactly, but that's wasting my time.
Now we talk about wasting other folks' time.
Yes, don't waste my time. I can't want your stuff more than you want your stuff for you.
So we never want to get people dressed up with no place to go.
Nope.
Okay. So as something that will be helpful to people, do we not also think this would be a good idea for them to map out their days?
I think this is a tremendous exercise because even I've done it 2 different ways so far, and actually 3, because if you think about before we even talked about this time,
how can someone listening to you now take this and actually do a map, or what do you recommend that they do to actually track their time and free up time?
So yesterday or Sunday night, we set a schedule for Monday.
Right.
I thought it was a rather tight schedule until we got to Monday and lived through it and realized that there were spaces in there that were not fully defined. They were allocated, but not fully defined, right?
Okay.
That 12 to 3 block that you talked about before.
Yeah.
So then to revamp it a little bit, when I went into Tuesday, I still copied Monday's map, starting out at 7 a.m., ending at 6:30 p.m. with everything that goes on there. And I filled it in a little bit more with more specifics. But then today, based on this conversation about time, I actually wrote a 24-hour timeline.
Okay.
Starting with 24 spaces and fill them in with what's going on. What I believe is a even more effective use of this is to actually have a sheet of paper, line it from 1 to 24, and every hour on the hour, fill in what it is that I've done with the hour before. Okay. Now, that's just a tracking. This is not what I'm going to live by. This is to track what I'm losing or what I'm gaining. My time steers.
That is another. Well, I don't have time to do that.
Yeah, well, it'll take a minute to write one sentence.
Yeah, that means
so
you won't
have
do
58. You have 59 minutes to do and 1 minute to dock.
So let's say, for example, at 10 a.m., at 9 to 10, I was at work.
Yeah, that's not. They could write that. Okay. I need to be more specific than that.
Okay, like what?
I need to say 10 to 1 Facebook or Eventbrite Creations or whatever. I need to say what I did so that then I can use that as a model next week. Okay. I don't have to tell myself what to do on Tuesday. Okay. I'll do what I did last Tuesday.
Okay.
Or even better, when you borrow somebody else's time, I could just hand them my Tuesday and say, here, this would be my Tuesday. Will you do my Tuesday things for me? And now I can go do something else.
Okay.
Okay, we got 3 minutes left.
I'm going to suggest that people will actually, I'm thinking a little bit bigger.
Go ahead.
Because I'm me, and I don't know if I could do what you just suggested. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking I can say, all right, I gave up. I invested into my work, my business for 5 hours today. Okay, 5 hours today I put into my business. And I want to see what time I have left. And what did I do with that left of time?
So
and I want to track that.
Yes. Document your empty hours.
Yes, I want to track it.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I suspect for me, and I suspect other people, if they start tracking their time, whether they do it the way you suggested or the way I'm suggesting, that's either going to be something that they brag about or something that they're going to be embarrassed about. Mm. And I'm suspecting most of us are going to be embarrassed about the amount of time that we waste. Now, granted, there is room for miscellaneous things. I don't know if we can go from here to here. We need some time to chill. Well, we need our mental coffee break, our mental break. We don't have a clock that we punch, but whenever we feel like it, all right, I need to just go sit down on the porch swing right now. I need to go chill or get another cup of coffee or sit down for a little bit or get out of my office chair and go sit on the couch, right?
I have to be more deliberate than that for me, because I can lose time and it'll just slip away from me.
All right, but to advise, to suggest to someone else, what do you suggest?
That they do whichever way makes sense to them. But let's just take the initiative and be diligent, maybe over the next 24 to 48 hours, over how you're spending your time. Because
time really is your life. No matter how much money you make, at the end of your days, you can't buy more time.
No.
You can't. And your life is the quality of how you use your time.
It is.
And matter of fact, it is the most important thing you have.
It absolutely is.
You can choose to let people waste your time or not.
That's right. And we're almost out of time. This is 895themix.com, the people's voice, the people's choice, your station for personal conversation, business information, and spiritual inspiration. 895themix.com, available online and on your TuneIn app.